Hello students, welcome back. So before starting today's class, let us start Brahmanad. Santi, Santi, Santi. Swasthya. So today here we are going to study a new chapter, that is coordination compounds. So the branch of chemistry which deals with the study of coordination compounds is known as coordination chemistry. So as the compound is coordination compounds, these compounds are also called complex compounds. So these are generally formed by coordinate bond. So actually what are these coordination compounds? So these coordination compounds are the addition compounds or molecular compounds which are formed by the addition of two or more simple salts. Okay, so these are the addition compounds or molecular compounds in which a metal atom, the central metal atom, is surrounded by number of ions or molecules. Central metal atom is surrounded by a number of ions or molecules beyond its normal valency, and where the compounds do not lose their identity in aqueous solution. Okay, so these are the addition compounds or molecular compounds where the central metal atom is surrounded by number of ions or molecules beyond its normal valency, and it completely do not lose its identity in aqueous solution. For example, let us take one example. Suppose we take example of potassium ferrocyanide. Let us take the example of potassium ferrocyanide. Here one atom iron, it has valency here 2, but it is surrounded by 6 cyanide ligands. Okay, 6 cyanide groups. So here iron is surrounded by 6 cyanide groups. But you know the valency of iron is 2 or 3. The valency or generally the valency of iron is 2 or 3. It forms 2 positive. It generally exists in ferrous form or ferric form. But here it is surrounded by 6 types of another type of ions or groups. Actually here iron exists as Fe2 plus, and there are different anions, and these are bonded by this coordination bond. So as this is formed by this coordination bond, that's why these are called your coordination compounds. Okay, so this is the study of all these coordination compounds is known as coordination chemistry. Okay, so these are the compounds, coordination compound. These are the compounds where the central metal atom or ion surrounded by number of oppositely charged ions or molecules beyond its normal valency, and it do not lose its identity in aqueous solution. There are so many coordination compounds. Some examples are complex of copper, that is tetraamine copper sulfate, and silver diamine silver chloride. So study of all these compounds are known as your coordination compounds or complex compounds, and these compounds are generally formed by the addition of two simple compounds or two simple salts. These are generally formed by the addition of two simple compounds or two simple salts. Okay, so look here. Generally when this ferrocyanide treated with solution cyanide, aqueous solution of ferrous cyanide treated with aqueous solution of potassium cyanide, it gives a complex, that is it gives complex potassium, a solution of complex potassium ferrocyanide. It gives potassium ferrocyanide, and which on evaporation in the crystals of potassium ferrocyanide will be formed. Similarly, another example, this nickel chloride. This is green in color. This is green in color. When the aqueous solution of this nickel chloride treated with aqueous solution of ammonia, aqueous solution of ammonia, that is ammonium hydroxide, it forms NiNH3 whole 6 Cl2. It has purple color. And when these crystals, when these solutions are evaporated, and it forms the crystals of this compound, that is your hexaamine nickel chloride compound. So these are your coordination compounds, and these coordination compounds are differ from double salts. Double salts are the addition compound or molecular compound where a metal atom exhibits its normal valency, that is normal valency, and it loses its identity in aqueous solution. Okay, so these are the coordination compounds. Now let us look some examples of double salts. So what is a double salt? So double salt, that is formed from, these are also prepared from two normal salts in equimolar proportions. Two normal salts in equimolar proportion. These are also the addition compounds. Okay, so these are the addition compounds where the metal atom exhibits its normal valency. Metal atom exhibits its normal valency. Okay, and it loses its identity in aqueous solution. Suppose we take the example of preparation of potassium. So potassium is generally prepared by taking equimolar quantities of potassium sulfate and aluminum sulfate. Okay, so by taking these two salts, generally K2SO4, Al2SO4 whole thrice dot 24 H2O. Here potassium exhibits its valency plus 1, aluminum exhibits its valency plus 3. So this is formed by equimolar quantities of, by taking equimolar quantities of potassium sulfate and aluminum sulfate. Similarly, another that is called your potassium. This is potassium. Another more salt. So this is formed from ferrous sulfate, ammonium sulfate. This is formed from ferrous sulfate and ammonium sulfate. Similarly, another ternalite. This is formed from potassium chloride, magnesium chloride, and okay. Similarly, chromalum. Chromalum, that is potassium sulfate, aluminum sulfate. So these are some double salts, and when these compounds loses their identity in aqueous solution. Only these exist in solid form, because look here, because potassium sulfate has different structure, aluminum sulfate has different structure, but when potassium, it has different structure, but in solid state. But when the aqueous solution is made of these salts, then it exhibits it gives the taste of potassium ion, Al3+ ion, and sulfate ion. Similarly, in this case, more salt, it has ferrous sulfate has different structure, in solid state, ammonium sulfate has different structure in solid state, and these compounds more salt different structure in solid state. But in aqueous solution, it shows the test of Fe2 plus, NH4 plus, and sulfate minus. Similarly, in carnallite, it gives, if we take the aqueous solution of this, if we take the aqueous solution of these compounds, then carnallite gives K plus, test of K plus, test of Mg2 plus and chloride ion. Similarly, chrome alum also gives the test of potassium. What are the test of, this is chromium. What are the test of chromium? The test for chromium, the test for potassium, and the test for sulfate. In this way, from which these compounds are formed, they show the same test. Okay, from which these compounds are formed, they show the same test. But when we consider about a complex salt, when we consider example of complex salt, suppose I am giving here one example, potassium ferrocyanide K4FeCl whole 6. In this case, it is formed from ferrocyanide and from potassium cyanide. But when we take the aqueous solution of this, potassium ferrocyanide, it only gives the taste of potassium and another taste FeCl whole 6 4 minus. But this is formed from ion Fe2 plus, cyanide ion, ferrous ion, potassium ion, and ferrous ion, potassium ion, and cyanide ion. It is formed from this. But when it forms, but its aqueous solution gives the taste of this compound and separately another compound, another ion. This part of ion and another ion. In this way, these complex compounds show different behavior from that of the constituents from which these are formed. But in double salt, they exhibit the same behavior of the ions from which these are formed. So these are coordination compounds or complex compounds, and these are double salts. Now come to what is the difference between a complex compound and a double salt. Okay. Difference between coordination compound and double salt. Difference. What is the difference between a coordination compound and double salt? So first thing, this one is also an addition or molecular compound, but this one is also an addition or molecular compound. This is the similarities. But what are the difference? First, this coordination compound is the addition or molecular form which is formed from two salts or two compounds, either in equimolar proportion or may not be in equimolar proportion. So these compounds are formed two salts either in equimolar proportion or may not be in equimolar proportion. But in double salt, these are formed by taking the equimolar proportion of two normal salts by the solution of equimolar quantities of two normal salts. So it is formed from equimolar quantities. It may or may not be in equimolar quantities. And here the coordination compounds, here the metal atom generally exhibits different valency from that of. So valency is different valency from that of its normal valency, but it exhibits its normal valency. It exhibits, the metal atom exhibits its normal valency. Okay. So may or may not be equimolar. In this case, first may or may not be in equimolar proportion, and this is always in equimolar proportion. Next, so in this coordination compound, generally coordinate bond is formed. Metal atom with this the surrounding atoms or molecules, it form coordinate bond. Metal atom generally form coordinate bond with the surrounding atoms or ions, but here generally ionic bonds are formed. Ionic bond is generally present, and this coordination compound do not lose their identity. The coordination compounds do not lose their identity in solid state as well as in aqueous solution. Do not lose their identity. So do not lose their identity in solution state or in solid state, in both state. But in this case, these double salt compounds, they lost their identity. They lost their identity in solution state. They lost their identity in solution state. In this case, this compound do not lose their identity. They retain their identity in solid state as well as in solution state. But in this case, they lost their identity. That means from what are their structure, what are their behavior, it is different in solution form. Next, these compounds do not exhibit the same property from that of the compounds from which it is formed. So it do not exhibit the properties of constituents. It do not exhibit the properties of constituents. But from which these are formed, it shows the same property from which these are formed. So the properties are same. It shows the same properties the same characteristics from which these are formed. It shows the same property of constituents. Same properties of constituents. So these are some. It shows different types of valency. It shows only one valency, that ionic bond. It is formed coordinate bond. In this way, these are some main important points of difference, that is of coordination compounds and that of double salts. Okay. Now, next comes to what are the important terms related with these coordination compounds. Okay, so important terms of coordination compounds. First, coordination entity. Okay, so the central metal atom generally transition metal from coordination compounds. So the central metal atom and is surrounded by metal atom, or in some cases ions. The metal atom and ion is surrounded by number of oppositely charged ions and molecules or molecules, number of opposite charge ions or molecules. So total this part is known as the complex part, or this is also known as coordination entity. Okay. For example, suppose I write K4FeCN whole 6. Here the metal atom is surrounded by so many number of oppositely charged ions, and this part is known as coordination entity, also known as your complex part or complex compounds. And these coordination compounds or these complexes are classified into three types. These coordination compounds are classified into three types. One, that is cationic complex, anionic complex, and another neutral complex. So if the complex part carries positive charge, then that is known as your cationic complex. If the complex part carries negative charge, then that is known as your anionic complex. And if the complex part carries no charge, that is known as your neutral complex. Cationic complex, for example, CuNH3 whole 4 sulfate. So in this case, when it undergoes dissolution in water, so it forms CuNH3 whole 4 2 plus, okay, plus SO4 2 minus. In this way, this is known as a cationic complex. Similarly, anionic complex, this one is an anionic complex, or FeC2O4 whole 3 and 3 minus. Okay, so this complex part carries negative charge. Suppose the salt is Na3 FeC2O4 whole thrice. Okay, this is the salt. But when it ionizes, it forms this negative ion plus 3Na plus ion. So as this complex part carries negative charge, these are known as your anionic complexes. So the complex which carries negative charge, that are known as your anionic complex. Which carries positive charge, that are known as your cationic complex. And neutral complexes which do not carry any charge, for example, CONH3 whole 3 Cl3. This total quantity is, the total term is generally expressed in square brackets. Okay, and another Ni nickel tetracarbonyl. So nickel tetracarbonyl, triamine trichlorocobalt, all these are known as your neutral complexes, as it do not carry any charge. Okay, so this is the first term is coordination entity or complex. What is the complex? Next comes, in this complex part, there are also different terms of this complex part. One is known as central metal atom. Central metal atom. So to the atom which is coordinated by so many number of other atoms or molecules or ions, that is known as your central metal atom. Okay, the example I have written here, K4FeCN whole 6. Look here, in this case, this iron is surrounded by 6 cyanide ions. So this iron is known as central metal atom. This is known as your central metal atom. Okay, so that is the part which is represented in square brackets. In square bracket there is one metal atom. To this metal atom, so many number of other opposite charged ions or atoms or groups are attached. So that are known as your to which atom these are attached, that is known as your central metal atom. Then what is the other part? The other part is known as ligand. Okay. Another part that is known as your ligand. So the atom or ion or molecule, the atom or ion or molecule which coordinate, which surround or which surround or coordinate with the central metal atom, that are known as your ligands. So the atom or molecule or ion which coordinate with the central metal atom, that are known as your ligands. So in this case, to this iron, 6 cyanides are linked through coordinate bond. So these are known as your ligands. So these are known as your ligands. Okay. So these are known as your ligands. So in ligand, actually in central metal atom there is so many number of vacant orbitals, and in ligands there is one donor atom, and this donor atom has an extra pair of electron or a lone pair of electron, and this lone pair of electron, through this lone pair of electron it form coordinate bond with this metal atom. Okay. So through this donor atom of the ligand, it can form coordinate bond with the metal atom. So in this way, the metal atom have actually the deficient of pair of electron. In this way, these metal atoms acts as your Lewis base, and these ligands acts as your Lewis acid. The central atom has deficiency of a pair of electron. In this way, they can receive a pair of electron. In this way, they act as your Lewis acids. So these are acts as your Lewis acids, and the ligands, the donor electron, which has a pair of electron that can donate the pair of electron to the central metal atom by forming a coordinate bond, that are generally known as your Lewis bases. So ligands are generally behave as Lewis bases, and the central metal atom behave as Lewis acids. The central metal atom behave as a Lewis acid. Okay, and the ligands behave as Lewis bases. So they form coordinate bond with the central metal atom. It has vacant orbitals, or it has generally deficient of electrons. Okay. Next, so there are different types of ligands. We will discuss. Okay, so these ligands are again classified into different types depending on the number of donor atoms present. The ligands are again classified into different types depending on the number of donor atoms present. If that is called how many number of donor atoms are present, depending on these are known as monodentate ligand, bidentate ligand, tridentate ligand. Okay, so these ligands are classified into different types depending on the number of donor atoms present. That is monodentate ligand, bidentate ligand, bidentate ligand, tridentate ligand, polydentate ligand. Okay, let us take the example of some polydentate ligand, etc. There are different types of ligands. monodentate ligand where only one donor atoms are present, that are known as your monodentate ligands. Only one, or it can coordinate through only one atom, that is known as your monodentate ligand. Example: chloride, bromide, iodide, like ammonia. Here it has a lone pair of electron. Water, it has a lone, although there are two lone pair of electron, at a time it can coordinate through one. Okay, so one here. So in this way, these are some examples of monodentate ligand where only one donor atoms are present. And another bidentate ligand where two donor atoms are present, that are known as your bidentate ligand. So it can coordinate through two donor sites. It can coordinate to the central metal atom. It can coordinate to the central metal atom through two donor sites, that are known as your bidentate ligand. And some examples are oxalate ion. So it can coordinate through this oxygen and this oxygen. And another ethylene diamine, CH2, NH2, CH2, NH2. There are two donor sites. This nitrogen is the donor atom. So two donor sites, it can coordinate through two. These are known as your bidentate ligands. And another glycinate ion. So it has also coordinate through two donor atoms. So these are some examples of bidentate ligands. Okay. So the bidentate ligand where both the donor atoms are same is known as your symmetrical bidentate ligand, and the bidentate ligand where both the donor atoms are different, that is known as your unsymmetrical bidentate ligand. Okay. So this is unsymmetrical bidentate ligand, and these two are symmetrical bidentate ligands. Okay. So when these bidentate ligands form complexes with the central metal atom, generally more than two bidentate or tridentate or polydentate ligands, when these are coordinate to the central metal atom through more than one donor site, when the bidentate or polydentate ligands form coordinate bond with the central metal atom with more than one donor site, then it forms a ring-like structure. So that ligands are called chelating ligands, and the complex is called a chelate. For example, suppose we take, that is the case of copper complex, ethylene copper complex. So let us take the example of some copper complex. Cu2 plus is there, and it is coordinated with ethylene diamine. This is another side ethylene diamine, and this is another side ethylene diamine. Okay. So in this case, it is coordinated through here, it is coordinated through nitrogen, and it is coordinated through nitrogen like this, nitrogen atom, it is coordinated through nitrogen to this, and it is also coordinated through nitrogen. In this way, it forms a ring-like structure here, also ring-like structure. So these ligands which forms a ring-like structure with the central metal atom, which form a ring-like structure with the central metal atom, are known as chelating ligands. So all bidentate or polydentate ligands are generally chelating ligands, and this complex is called a chelate. This complex is called a chelate. Okay. Now let us take example of tridentate ligand. So tridentate ligand, where there are three donor sites, that is known as your tridentate ligand. Example: diethylene triamine, diethylene triamine, diethylene triamine. Okay, so look here, NH2, CH2, NH, CH2, CH2, NH2, CH2, CH2, NH2. Okay, so in this case, it can coordinate with the central metal atom through 3 donor sites: nitrogen, nitrogen, nitrogen. In this way, this is a tridentate ligand. If there are 3 numbers for donor atoms, that is tridentate. 4 number tetradentate, 5 number pentadentate. Similarly, so all these are known as your more than 2 donor atoms, that are known as your polydentate ligands. So more than 2 are known as polydentate ligand. This is an example of polydentate or tridentate ligand. Let us take one example of hexadentate ligand. So all these are polydentate, hexadentate ligand. That is your EDTA. Example is EDTA, ethylene diamine tetraacetate. Ethylene diamine tetraacetate. And here also CH2, CO minus and CH2, COO minus. Look here. So in this way, it can coordinate through 6 sides. This nitrogen atom, one side, 2 side, oxygen atom, there is one oxygen atom. Okay, here also oxygen atom and here also another oxygen atom. In this way, EDTA has 6 coordination sites. That's why this is known as a hexadentate ligand. Okay, next come to some other types of ligands. That is ambidentate ligand. Ambidentate ligand. So actually this is a monodentate ligand. Ambidentate ligand is actually monodentate ligand. So the monodentate ligand which has more donor sites, actually ligand which has more donor site, but at a time it can coordinate through only one atom, that is known as your ambidentate ligand. So ambidentate ligand is a unidentate ligand or a monodentate ligand which has more donor sites. For example, cyanides. So this group can coordinate through either carbon and this group can coordinate through either nitrogen. This is cyanide or isocyanide. Similarly, another group NO2 can coordinate through either nitrogen, this is nitride group, and this is also can again coordinate through oxygen. Okay, so this is another. Similarly, thiocyanides, SCN, thiocyanide ion, either coordinate through sulfur or this thiocyanide ion either coordinate through nitrogen, isothiocyanide. So in this way there are 2 donor atoms, but at a time it can only coordinate through one, that is known as your ambidentate ligand. This is a monodentate ligand which has more donor sites, that are known as your ambidentate ligands. Okay. Next come to another, that is your flexidentate ligands. Flexidentate ligand. So a ligand which has more donor sites, but it can coordinate through different sites as required. So in this way, that is known as your flexidentate ligand. For example, suppose I take the example of ethylene diamine tetraacetate, which is a hexadentate ligand, which is a hexadentate ligand. So although it is a hexadentate ligand, but at a time it can coordinate through different. So either it can coordinate through, it can become in some cases tetradentate, pentadentate or hexadentate at the time of requirement. So in this way, these are known as your flexidentate ligand. Another ligand that is known as your bridging ligand. Okay, so this is a flexidentate ligand and another ligand that is your bridging ligand. Bridging ligand. If any ligand can coordinate simultaneously to two metal atoms, that is known as your bridging ligand. Okay, any ligand is simultaneously coordinate through two metal atoms, OH minus NH2 minus amide hydroxide. These are generally used as your bridging ligand. These are also unidentate ligands, but at a time simultaneously it can coordinate through coordinate to two metal atoms. Look here, En whole twice CO OH NH2 and CO En whole twice. So look at these two complexes. So when we consider about these two complexes, this OH minus ion, you are linked with this OH minus ion, you are linked with this cobalt to this cobalt, and here also you link with this cobalt. Okay, OH two cobalt atom, here NH2 minus is also linked with two cobalt atom. As these are linked with two cobalt atom in this, as these are linked with two cobalt atom in this way, these ligands are known as your bridging ligands. Okay, so another term is ligands. And what are ligands and what are its classification? Next come to another term of this coordination compound, that is coordination number. Coordination number. So what is coordination number? The central atom surrounded by how many number of coordinate bond by the ligands? The central atom surrounded by how many number of coordinate bonds through the ligands by the ligands, that is known as your coordination bond. So the number of coordination bonds present around the metal atom by the ligands is known as your coordination number. For example, in this case, it's surrounded by 6 ligands, but the coordination number of K4 FeCN whole 6. Here the coordination number of iron is 6. Similarly, if we consider Cu NH3 whole 4 2 plus, here the coordination number of copper is 4. If you consider Ag NH3 whole 2 plus, here the coordination number of silver is 2. The coordination number of silver is 2. So how many number of coordination bond is formed? So this is the monodentate ligands are present. If a bidentate ligand is present, like Fe C2O4 2 minus whole thrice. So as this is a bidentate ligand, it can coordinate with the metal atoms on two sides. So in this as bidentate ligand 2 into 3. Here also the coordination number of iron is 6. Okay, that is known as its coordination number. So here it is the coordination number. Next come to another term, that is oxidation number. Oxidation number. What is the charge present on this metal atom? What is the actual charge present or actual charge it has? that is known as its oxidation number, which generally this compound exhibits in its normal salts. In normal salt, what type of charge it exhibits, generally that is its oxidation number, and when that is generally represented by Roman numerals. Okay, so for example, in this case, K4FeCN whole 6, if all the ligands and the atoms are removed as ions, if all the ligands and atoms are removed as ions, what is the charge remaining here? What is the residual charge? What is the charge present in this metal atom? That is known as its oxidation number. So here the oxidation number of iron is +2. Here the oxidation number of iron is +2. So how to calculate this oxidation number? Just in class 11th you know how to calculate the oxidation number. The same rule you have to follow. So with the oxidation number of iron is here X, then potassium has you know that is your +1. So 4 +1 plus X plus cyanide has you know that is -1, 6 -1, or total it carries no charge 0. In this X equal to +2. So in this you can calculate what are the oxidation number. Okay, and this oxidation number is generally represented by square brackets. So suppose another example I have taken CO NH3 whole 6 Cl3. What is the oxidation number of cobalt? Suppose this is X and ammonia is a neutral molecule, it carries no charge, 6 into 0 plus chloride has -1, 3 into -1 equal to 0. In this way, X equal to +3. So the oxidation number of cobalt is here +3. Okay, so this is the another term, coordination number and oxidation number. Next come to coordination sphere. Coordination sphere. So the central metal atom and the ligands. The central metal atom and the ligands all are represented in square brackets, and that part is generally non-ionizable, and this part is known as, this total part is known as coordination sphere. So in this case, total this part is known as coordination sphere. Coordination sphere. And what are present here that do not undergo ionization? It behaves as a single unit. It behaves as a single unit. It behaves as a single unit and that do not undergo ionization. Next, another ionization sphere. Ionization sphere. What are the other atoms or ions present outside this coordination sphere is known as ionization sphere. What are the outside present? What are present outside? What are the ions present outside in this coordination with the except this coordination sphere? Except this coordination sphere or around this coordination sphere are known as ionization sphere. So this part is known as ionization sphere. This is ionization part or ionization sphere. Next come to another term, that is effective atomic number. So what is effective atomic number? A central metal atom can form how many coordination bond or how many coordinate bond, that is generally governed by this effective atomic number rule. That means any atom when forms this type of coordination complex that should achieve the electronic configuration of next inert gas. That should achieve the electronic configuration of next inert gas. That means total electrons of the central atom should be equal to total electrons of the central metal atom should be equal to the electronic electrons of next inert gas. Look here, in the formation of this complex FeCN6 4 minus iron is in oxidation state of +2. So iron has total number of electrons 26 and 2 plus means 2 electrons are lost. That means number of electrons 24 and one cyanide group, one ligand gives 2 electrons. In this is 6 ligands. So 6 ligands means 6 into 2 that is equal to 36. This is the electronic configuration of next inert gas, that is krypton. In this cell, whether it forms 6 or it 5 or it forms 7, the actual that is governed by effective atomic number. So in the formation of complex compounds, the central atom should form that many number of coordination bond so that the total electrons becomes nearly equal to or equal to the electronic configuration of next inert gas. Okay, so these are some terms of coordination compounds. Now, next comes to nomenclature of coordination compounds. So before going this nomenclature of coordination compound, what are the different terms that is explained? Just look at one example about these different terms. Suppose this is given CO, NH3, whole 3 and Cl3. Suppose this is given another CONH3, whole 4, Cl2 and Cl. This is one compound given. Okay. So this is central metal atom. This one central metal atom. This is ligand and this part is known as coordination sphere. This is coordination sphere. This is ionization part. Here oxidation number, that is equal to, suppose X plus 4 into 0 plus 3 into minus 1 equal to 0. In this way, suppose the oxidation number is X. In this way, X equal to plus 3. The oxidation number is plus 3 and here the coordination number. Here 4 ammonia and 1 2 chlorine, coordination number is 6. And another thing, if the central atom is surrounded by only one type of ligand, that are known as your homoleptic ligands, and it is surrounded by different types of ligands that are known as your heteroleptic complex. Heteroleptic complex and homoleptic complex. So this is one heteroleptic complex. And suppose another example given, CONH3 whole 6 Cl3. This one homoleptic complex. Okay, so these are the different terms. Now we know. Next come to nomenclature. Nomenclature. Coordination compounds. Nomenclature of coordination compounds. So whenever you write the nomenclature of coordination compound, you have to follow certain rules. So as you write the normal salts, if you write the sodium chloride or if you write the name of barium sulfate, in this always positive name part is written first, then the negative part. In this way, whenever write the name, so cation should be named first, cation followed by anion name. You have to write the name of cation, then you have to write the name of anion. And whenever you write the complex part, first we have to write the name of ligands followed by the metal atoms. Ligands, then metal atom, and after this metal atom you have to write what is its oxidation number in numerals. So whenever you write the complex part, first you have to write the name of ligands, then metal atom, then oxidation number. Okay. So if different types of ligands are present, then you have to write that in alphabetical order. You have to write the name of different ligands. If different ligands are present, then you have to write them in alphabetical order followed by the metal atom or ion name. Next, suppose so many number of ligands, same ligands, so many numbers present, so many number of. Suppose so many number of same ligands are present. So many number of same ligands are present. Then numerical prefixes di, tri, tetra. Then di, tri, tetra, penta, hexa, etc. are used. Penta, hexa, etc. are used to represent the number of ligands 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. Okay. So if the ligands always contain the numerical prefixes di, tri at that time, or generally the organic ligands present, or generally if the numerical prefixes itself contains di, tri, then at that time to represent the more number of ligands, generally we use bis, tris, tetrakis, etc. to represent 2, 3 and 4. When the numerical prefixes itself contain the ditrile like numerical prefixes. Okay. For example, ethylene diamine. Suppose ethylene diamine is present. So in this case, this di is present. So if more number of ethylene diamine is present, then bis, tris, etc. used. Suppose ammonia present more number, then we can use di, tri, etc. Okay. So if this ligand itself contains in this way, then numerical prefixes di, tri, etc. used. Okay. Next, how to write? So ligands are written in alphabetical order. If more number of same ligands are present, the numerical prefixes di, tri, etc. used. And if the numerical prefixes, always the ligand contains the numerical prefixes di, tri in its name, then bis, tris, etc. used. And these ligands, depending upon the charge, these ligands are again classified as cationic ligand, neutral ligand, and anionic ligand. So depending upon the charge, the ligands are again classified into 3 types: cationic, neutral ligand, and anionic ligand. So this neutral ligand, in case of neutral ligand, generally whenever write ligand name, in case of neutral ligand that ends with ion, and if this is the neutral ligand, then it has specific name. And if it is anionic ligand, then terminal E is removed by O. For example, if this is IDE converted to IDO, if it is ITE converted ITO, if it is ends with ATE, then that is converted to ATO, like this. For example, Cl minus, it is converted to chlorido. If that is OH minus, hydroxide, hydroxido. hydroxido. If this is sulfate, then sulfato. So all the negative ligands ends with O. All the neutral ligands, it has some special name, like if this is water is present, known as aqua. If ammonia present, known as amine. If ethylene diamine present, it has specific name, that is ethylene diamine. If this is present, this is known as your pyridine. So in this way, it has some as usual name or some specific name is used. For example, if carbon monoxide is present, known as carbonyl. This is known as carbonyl. Similarly, if nitric oxide NO is present, known as nitrosyl. Like this. So, see, in this way, it has some special name for neutral ligands. Similarly, ion for positive ligands, if NO plus, nitrosonium, if NO2 plus, known as nitronium, if NH2, NH3 plus, known as hydrargyrum. Okay, so let us take only two examples, NO plus, NO2 plus, nitrosonium and nitronium, like this. And positive ligands case are very rare, very less number, and maximum ligands are either through neutral ligands or through anionic ligands, because these are electron rich species and these are positive species. These are not electron rich. In this way, less number of ligands carrying positive charge. Maximum ligands carry either no charge, that is neutral ligands, or maximum are negative charge ligands. Okay. Next one. So after writing this name of ligands, then metal atom, then its oxidation number should be written. Next, if the complex part is positive, then you have to use the as usual name of central metal atom. Then usual name of central metal atom. Okay. If the complex part is positive or neutral, then you have to write the usual name of central metal atom. No specific end. And if the complex part is negative, then that ends with ATE, and generally that ends with ATE after the name of this metal atom. It's end with an, and in maximum case Latin name is used. Okay. Then you have to write the name, and total complex part should be written as one word. Total complex part should be written as one word. Should be written as one word. That means no gap between them. Okay. Let us take some examples. So first cation anion, then complex part, writing ligand, metal atom, then its oxidation number. So if the more number of ligands are present, then you have to write them in alphabetical order. If same ligands are present, then numerical prefix you have to use. If the complex part is positive or neutral, then you have to use as usual name of the central metal atom, and it ends with negative charge ligand. If the complex part is negative, then that ends with ATE, and maximum case, the Latin name of the central metal atom is used. Okay, and total complex part should be written as one word. In this way, let us take some examples of how to write the name of some compounds. The first compound I usually give in the example K4FeCN whole 6. Okay, K4FeCN whole 6. So another thing, if ambidental ligand is present, then you have to mention the point of attachment just by writing the atom, before the name of the ligand. Okay, in this case, actually in cyanide case, it is not necessary so much. So K4FeCN6, sorry, this is not the formula. K4FeCN6. So this is ionization part, this is complex part. This complex is positive, this is negative. Okay, as is positive, as is negative. In this way, how to positive part written first. So this is potassium. Then you can give, so between this capital and N, you can give gap. And this is complex part where iron ligand is cyanide and 6 ligands are present. And oxidation number we have to find out, that is 2. So in this way, hexa cyano, as this complex part is negative, then you have to write ferret, and the oxidation number you have to write in Roman letter. So the name of this compound is potassium hexacyanoferrate. Similarly, let us take another example, that is CuNH3 whole 4 SO4. So this is complex part, this is your ionizable part, and here ligand is ammonia, and this is 4 ammonia are present. The name of this compound is, so first ligand name tetraamine. In this case, to write amine you have to use double N, tetraamine. So copper, so these are the English name, that is copper, and charge is here, you have to find out 2, tetraamine copper 2, then sulfate. Okay, next come to another example, CONH3 whole thrice Cl3. What is the name of this compound? This is heterolytic complex. Look here, the CONH3 whole 3 Cl3. The ligands are 2 ligands are there, ammonia is there and chlorine is there. So as ammonia and chlorine is there, to this ammonia and trichlorido, first ammonia, alphabetically ammonia comes first, then chlorine. In this should be named first. So name of this compound is, and find out the oxidation number, here I have found out, that is +3. Okay, so name of this compound triamine trichloride converted to chlorido, triamine trichlorido, one word, this is just one word, cobalt, triamine trichlorido, cobalt 3. Okay, so this is the name of compound. Okay, so what are the, how to name compounds? In the next class we will discuss the nomenclature of some other examples.